Happy Father's Day weekend, everybody. I kind of wanted to do a video to commemorate my father and my grandfathers and all, and in Thanksgiving for how they raised me and how they taught me to be a man. And a man of integrity is what I seek to be. I'm not perfect, but that's what they taught me to be. And what comes to mind is a story. Well, my grandfather, he told many stories. One of them did. Uh, and he was a small business owner, and he was telling me about how he was in a meeting. I guess he went to see one of his friends at his office, and he was getting ready to sell part of his business, all of it, something. But I won't say any names. A lot of you might even know who I'm talking about. But he was going to sell it to another big business, and big business come walking in, and my grandfather said, well, I'm small fish, it's time for me to go. And his friend told him, no, you're not going anywhere, you're going to stay right here. And my grandfather always told him it made an impact on him, and how he treated him, and he aspired to treat others the same. And um, it stood out in my mind as well, and it got passed down to me. And I guess it's been sort of a point of, I guess, anger for me, throughout my life when I see um, what people would consider those of lower social status, when they're put down, when they're not even paid attention, when they're taken from, when the helpless who can't help themselves are taken from. Um, it it bothers me. It does. And the Word of God, it speaks a lot about that, about helping the poor, and how the wicked oppress the poor. And one of the most notable ones to me is about how God told Isaiah in Isaiah 58 to go tell his people about the type of fast, the type of attitude that they have in their fast, which wasn't pleasing to God. And they would ask, God told Isaiah, they're asking these questions. God, why do you not hear us when we fast? Why don't you hear us from on high when we humble ourselves? There's a saying, you've probably heard, wisdom doesn't call itself wise. Well, neither does humility. Humility doesn't call itself humble either. I'm trying to be humble. As if you want a pat on your back for being humble. It's kind of a contradiction in terms, but I digress. And he goes on, and he tells Isaiah, he says, cry loud, don't hold back, tell people about the problem that they have. Um, he tells them, beginning in verse 3, he says, behold, in the day of your fast you seek your own pleasure and oppress all your workers. As if they're up here, but the workers are down there. The workers who are actually making them the money. If they didn't have the workers, they'd be doing it themselves. So, how does that work out? Um, he goes on, and he tells them, he continues, he says, fasting like yours this day will not make your voice be heard on high. Is that the fast that I choose for a person to humble himself? No, it's not. He says, will you call this a fast and a day acceptable to the Lord? No, it's not hardly. That's the persona that he has. He says, is not this the fast that I choose, to loose the bonds of wickedness, to undo the straps and the yoke, to let the oppressed go free, and to break every yoke? Is it not to share your bread with the hungry, and bring the homeless poor into your house, to help people? To help people. And he goes on, he says, when you see the naked, to cover him, and not to hide yourself from your own flesh. He tells him, it's sacrifice that I desire. He said, that's the attitude that I'm looking for. That's the fast that I'm looking for. When you give something up, give it to someone else. to the point to where you take your own shirt off of your back, you have another one. They don't. Give it to them. That's the fast that I choose. That's the attitude that I'm looking for. That's the humility that I desire to see in my people. And that's what I'm working toward. I'm 46 years old now. I hadn't got it perfectly right yet, but I'm thankful with all of my heart for my father and both of my grandfathers, the men who made me into a man, teaching me such things. And if you're a father, I would like to encourage you. What kind of an attitude are you giving off to your children? Do you treat people with respect if they're in higher status than you, same status as you, and treat people with disrespect who you perceive to have a lower status than you? If you do, I would ask you to change your mind because your children are watching. God bless you. Happy Father's Day. Have a great weekend.